Today I'm building a gold farm that is going to produce so much gold it's going to supply this entire server, as well as I start the shopping district and build a bartering farm so we can get even more items to sell in our shop.
Alright, so we've gotten this little platform built up, which is going to be our AFKing and collection system platform. Super simple. The mobs just fall to their deaths down onto this platform, and then it will automatically collect the drops and sort them out, so we're not having to deal with any of the flesh or non-stackable items. Alright, so we've built up a little killing chamber and miniature collection system. We're going to upgrade that here in just a minute whenever we make the bartering farm over here and the gold collection system over there. We also have placed 3 platforms up there, but I want to get it quite a lot higher because the more of these platforms we add, the more effective this farm becomes. So we're going to do that real quick before we build the bartering and collection system. Alright, so I've finished up this entire farm and built up the collection system for the gold and a little auto crafting system, as well as I've constructed a bartering farm. It's only got 2 piglins in it for now. We might increase that later, but for now 2 piglins produces enough supplies for me and pretty much the entire server, so not too much. This system over here, this is just a gigantic backup log in case too much gold flows through. This is the crafting system, which I need to rig up to stop this thing so it's not wasting gold whenever this chest fills up, but I've emptied all that for now. And it's produced over a shulker box of gold. Like, I've used probably 15 stacks of gold in the bartering farm already, so this has produced a crap ton of supplies. None of these have any in them because, well, I haven't used it enough to fill it up yet, but I made way more storage than necessary. This little system over here is just a dropper clock so that any time zombie flesh or other items that are not gold come through, they'll burn in lava because we don't want any of that. It's way too much. This thing produces probably the few thousand zombie flesh per hour, and no, just no. These guys, what happens here is the dropper falls into the cobweb, dropping the gold down to these 2 who make more than enough supplies that we need. Like, we have a ton of stuff, especially gravel and blackstone, which we are about to use to open up a new shop. We're going to sell all the items we get from this farm and from many of the other farms, such as our cactus farm, our wool farm, a whole bunch of things, and it's just going to be in this giant shop for everybody so that Jester can come and buy what he needs with diamonds, and then he'll probably make some shops and I'll go buy what I need with diamonds. It's just to keep everybody's able to get their own thing without having to build every farm in the game on their own. The farm itself came out to be 9 layers tall, and it, as you can see now, it produces a lot of zombified piglins, like, per minute. We spawn-proofed it with some glass on top every other block so that no ghasts or magma cubes spawn, because if they do, the ghasts can blow up your farm and the magma cubes are just a pain to get rid of. The main platforms are made out of magma blocks because those stop anything but zombified piglins from falling through. And look, just so many of them spawn. The reason they go towards the center is using turtle eggs, which you can see here. These turtle eggs, mobs like to smash them for whatever reason, and then the trapdoors make it where they can't see that there's no block here, and they just walk off into this abyss. A few of them do get stuck sometimes, I'm not sure why, but whenever more piglins come by, they'll just push them down the hole, so it's not really a problem. And this thing used about 11 turtle eggs, so they are an expensive block, but they go a long way. You want to make sure the piglins cannot in any way get to these turtle eggs, though, because then, as I said before, they like to smash them, and those will no longer be there, and you have to replace them. They just die from fall damage down there, so no looting, none of that, because I don't want to AFK this farm and have to use an auto clicker, because those are just a pain. So I rigged it up to where they just fall by fall damage, and for whatever reason, you need to AFK this farm about 30 or 40 blocks to the side of it, up by it, instead of down below it, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why. You'd think it would work perfectly fine, but it really doesn't. It barely produces any when you stand below it. With all that done, I'm going to go build the shop that we're going to sell all these items, including the gold, in, so that we can produce a few few more diamonds from Jester, and so hopefully he'll open a shop where we can buy items from, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to get items you don't want to collect yourself, but somebody else might have a lot of.
So I've built this little hole here, and I'm gonna decorate it up a little bit and sell 4 items per layer, each one in one of these 4 walls, and this is what I'm kind of gonna decorate it like. I think this will work pretty well. It looks decent. Not a huge color palette, but just enough to give it some detail without it looking way too busy. I'm kind of just thinking I want to dig down a whole bunch of layers and just sell a ton of items. And eventually, I want to sell so many items that I reach bedrock with this giant hole. And you just go shop in this really strange vertical building. And I'm thinking maybe you go up with water to the top or something like that, and kind of going for a mine shaft look. Alright, so after 30 to 45 minutes of building, I've gotten a little something done. 2 layers are finished, and I was going to use water here, but I couldn't get it to flow correctly, so I'm just using scaffolding instead, because they work almost the same way, and it looks really neat with the mine shaft style I'm going for. Each of these things will sell 1 different block, for instance, crying obsidian, gold, blackstone, and so on. There's 2 layers so far, but I do want to add a ton more later, and I want to get a little bit more detailing into this, but for this episode, I think this will do just fine. I've got 8 items for sale, so that's pretty decent, and all of those are from the gold farm we made earlier. We'll get all our other farms to be stocking this pretty soon. I just gotta build another couple layers and get the little prices set up, which I need to do real quick. But I believe that's all for this episode of Crowns of Fire. To keep up with all my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.